Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, Sirr of the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC. And today I got a special guest, John, one of the writers, the heads, Afronomenon Studios, also the creator of the Judgment Day comic book. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Man, I'm doing all right. One of the things I've been doing with TikTok, I've been finding way more creators on TikTok. I want to say in the last year or so. And
Yeah.
so I've been reaching out to creators who have placed their products online and have kind of cultivated like this fan base. And you were one of the products that popped up on my timeline, like I want to say a good 8 times.
That's
And I
good
was
to know. I be feeling like my stuff don't go nowhere.
Bro, I'm telling you, algorithm be algorithm. And I'm gonna tell you why I think you popped up. Is because I've been covering black comics, like black content creation, especially in comics. And I'm a wrestling fan.
oh,
And so,
oh, so you know already.
uh-huh. Yep.
Oh, okay, man.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have said
Uh-huh.
something, I would have bought the belt out and everything, bro. I got
Yeah,
hold
man.
up. Give me 2 seconds, bro.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hold this?
Cause yeah, bro. Cause within my circle, brother, we are wrestling fans. You hear me? Okay, okay. Now it feels right. Now it feels right. There we go.
Okay. I'll. Yeah.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, me. Yeah, me.
Yeah. A lot
So
of people don't know I lead a double life.
you know, because
Yeah.
I was going through your page when I got your response. I was like, okay, let me follow, bro. And then I go scrolling, and you was talking about how it was a beautiful day for training. I was like, training.
hmm Oh, you saw
Then
that?
uh-huh. I was
Yeah.
like, oh. And then
Yeah.
it started snowing.
Yeah. It's Maryland weather for you, man.
Man, so let's get into it, bro. Let's talk about it. Let's get head first into it.
hmm
You are a man of many hats.
Many.
Artist, professional wrestler,
hmm
content creator. How did you even how did you even get started, and what would you say you started on first of all of those?
ADD.
Good answer.
ADD. So no. But honestly, I've always been an artist when I was growing up. We all had our Dragon Ball Z phase.
Oh yeah.
It started right there, and me and my friends would battle our characters. We're like, oh, my character can do this and this and this and this, that sort of thing. And one day, my pops walked up to me, and I was always drawing. First of all, I was always drawing regular Dragon Ball Z characters,
Mm-hmm.
and my father doesn't know it's Japanese anime. He thinks
Mm-hmm.
they white. They would
Ah,
ask me, he's like, "Yo, why you always drawing white people?" And from that point on, I was like, "Why do I
mm,
always draw? Why do I do this?" So from that point on, I started drawing, making my own characters and giving them their own power sets and that sort of thing. So that's where I started. Yeah.
oh, okay.
hmm
So now, with the type of comic that I saw, I definitely saw, I want to say a color variety. You're right. I did see like an emphasis to stray outside of like the typical norms that you see in anime today.
Yeah.
Just being honest with you, because there is a whole nother conversation with that. So, how did your idea come to fruition? Because it comes from one place to being an artist, right?
Yeah.
But then there's a whole nother process that had to happen for you to get started on your comic book.
Oh
So how
yeah.
did that happen?
Yeah. So originally I actually have wrote the novel series.
Uh-huh.
I wrote all 3 books. I finished the last book 2020, I believe, 2021. Around that time. Actually, I think I finished it while I was on when I first got on TikTok. I had just finished the book series or whatever, right? So yeah. I had wrote the book series, but really where it all started, obviously I was a kid and I always liked Storm. That's okay. I don't need them. That's okay. Uh, I started drawing. I would draw my characters, and then I would give them powers, but they never had stories.
Mm,
And one of my teachers, she gave us like a prompt one day to write stories. It was like write 1-page story. I wrote a 1-page story, and then like I got the best story in the class. Like she had me stand up and read it. I was so embarrassed, and she was like, "This is so good." And then she did this thing at the end of the quarter where she had us write an actual book, and I wrote a book,
Mhm.
and the name of the book was called PlayStation 3, right? And this is before PlayStation. This is like PlayStation 2, like.
Oh wow. Okay.
And the story is basically it's an isekai. It's an isekai. So essentially,
Okay.
I wrote me and my 3 friends was playing the new PlayStation 3 that has like a that's like a CD changer. You put 5 discs in it and that sort of thing. And a lightning bolt hit the house, and we all get sucked into the game, and we gotta work our way through all 5 games in order to get to the football
Oh.
game next day. And it was something like that. And that got me like a in all of DC there was like this writing award, so I got like a writing award for all of DC, and
Wow.
that's how it started. So I would make characters and I would write stories for the characters, and I got to college. I was having a hard time. I always wanted to do a comic book, by the way. I had
Mm.
always started a comic book and then stopped because I was always realized that they would always sound like other stories, and I hate that. Like
Okay.
my
I
characters,
understand.
they were demons, and then I looked up and I'm playing Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, let me do something else. Let me do something else. Oh, they're this, they're that, and then eventually I got to a point where I was having a hard time, and I had a teacher named Michael O'Sullivan in Art Institute of Washington. Michael O'Sullivan used to work for I think Marvel, and he taught me a method because I was having a hard time writing my story. Right, it's called the Henson method, and it's like it breaks down 5 different things in the he wrote for Marvel, by the way. So it breaks down 5 different things, and you basically just go through those things and to build your story. And from that point on, I just been writing.
Mm.
Once I learned that, that was the beginning of me writing specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with writing, obviously, it comes from you.
Mhm.
So there has to be an element of real life inspiration, that you draw from.
Oh yeah.
So are there any like real world experiences that have translated into your work? And more
Oh
specifically, any that translated into Judgment Day?
oh, the entire book is experiences that I've had in my life. Like the very first villain in my story. Oh, give me a second. So the very first villain in my book, this woman right here. Uh, this woman right here.
Oh,
Can't see
okay.
everything, but
Right.
she's based off of my first 2 girlfriends.
Oh,
My first 2 girlfriends was exactly like that. Very hyper sexual and that sort of thing. So like my first bad guy comes from my first 2 girlfriends. But on a deeper note, my main characters, Anarchious and Abel. Abel is actually on my T-shirt right now. Um,
mm.
they actually come from growing up and learning how to deal with being a black man.
Ooh.
I don't think a lot of people understood it. So this is how I do it. So as a teenager, I was very angry. You remember do you remember the first time when you realized that you're no longer a kid no more?
Mm-hmm.
You were like 13 or 14.
Yep.
So that happened to me, and from the point I went from being a cute little kid into being a grown ass man, but I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
I remember how the world started treating me, and that bothered
Mm-hmm.
me. Oh my, it bothered me so much. So I had this anger inside of me, but I also had this understanding that like if I lashed out, it's not going to help anybody at all. So my main characters, Anarchist and Abel, actually symbolize that. So Abel like really symbolizes like my anger at
Mm.
that time as a kid, like because I know how the world was treating me. I know it was wrong. I know where it was coming from. I know the history, because I went to a black school and my schools did not uh sugarcoat black history. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew everything. So like, the James Baldwin quote, to be black and conscious in America is to always be enraged, or something along
Yep.
those lines. So essentially Abel embodies that quote. Whereas Anarchious, I needed him to be a little bit naive, because even as a 12, 13-year-old, you're still naive. So you want to believe that the world will work for you. You want to believe that if you act like a good person, that they will treat you like a good person. So I have that, and it's funny because one of the things I really wrote at the end of my the very first novel series is Anarchious and Abel. They come back together and they have their first real like argument as adults. And the argument is basically Abel is telling Anarchious that he's acting essentially like an Uncle Tom, and Anarchious doesn't get that. He's just like, but you're calling me an Uncle Tom because I don't want to hurt and kill innocent people. It's like nobody's innocent. Like, they wiped out our people. They did these things to us. They're still doing it. They're still hunting us, both of us, by the way, and you want to protect them. So it's like, I felt like that was the internal conflict that I had as a teenager growing up. And it honestly is still there, but it's not nearly as I can control it now. So yeah, those real life experiences is why I came up with Judgment Day. At least the main conflict between my main antagonist and my main protagonist.
Let me ask you, with the topic that touchy, right? Because that is something, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm still dealing with in therapy to this day, bro. Like, my therapist is going to see me this week. As sorting through these emotions, man. Was this a journey by the time you wrote this? Was this a journey that you were still on, or was this a journey that you had completed by the time you had started writing this?
I was still on. I felt like writing is also therapeutic, so
Agreed.
it was helping me get through that part, those feelings, specifically, hating these people and hating the world and that sort of thing, and wanting to protect those around me and that sort of thing. So I was on the journey. It took until I was I don't know, 2-3 years ago I started a therapy. So I had a therapist for a little bit, off and on, and she helped me a little bit through it.
All right. No, man. One thing about me, man, I was the last person that you would think would be talking about therapy until I hit a wall that did not have the answers I needed.
Yeah.
And I tried every sort of way to circumnavigate it. And much like yourself, I'm a poet. So I would write to like navigate. And I saw, hopefully this makes sense. When I was writing and then going back to read it, it was like me taking a snapshot, stepping back, and then looking at the section.
No. I got exactly. Because it's like I know these feelings. I don't know exactly how to express these feelings. I write these feelings down and I reread them. I'm like, oh,
yep,
yeah.
It was the perfect way to like diagnose this. And then when I got my therapist, thank God, I just so happened to find one that clicked with me, because I hear horror stories of people dealing with terrible ones. I got one that understood, and when I presented them to him, he was just straightforward with me. He was like, yo, you overthink a lot, but X, Y, and Z that happened to you was fucked up. This is what we can do to work on it.
I'm glad for you, by the way, because
thank you, bro.
Yeah,
thank you, bro.
Very hard to find a good therapist.
Yeah, bro. Blessed. So that leads to my next question, sort of like with this writing process and this process of discovery, because man, I feel like as much as I learned, I'm still like in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I'm trudging through.
Never stop learning, by the way. So it's
and it's odd too, because it's like, yeah, we never stop learning, but it's like I'm still learning about myself. The person I deal with every day, I'm still getting new tidbits of how I like to present things to myself, because I was extremely harsh to myself growing up. So now I'm learning to handle myself more with care and more understanding. But
understandable.
With this writing that you've done, and you've done volumes, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this. Like, there's always like a hype point, right? Like, I know you saw things coming together, and then you look back and like, damn, it's really happening. what part did you find yourself most excited about? Like when you really got started, when the wheels were turning, like in the middle and you seen shit coming together, or when you got to the end and you were like, you know what, I got it together, it's completed. Like which process, or
Um,
excuse me, which portion of the process do you like
Honestly,
more?
I believe after the very first book, because I first of all I didn't think it was possible. Um, where I come from, like nobody from where I come from is a writer. You know, nobody for all I know, nobody was really into writing like that. Or there was some artists we would all draw together, but I was, I feel like I was like the last one out of my friend group, and everybody else went off to do this other stuff. Everybody else became a rapper, that type of writing, and I was
Mhm.
I was I was doing it with them too. But for the most part, I was writing stories. So I think at the end of the first book, what really clicked for me is I wrote the first book, and I'm like, nobody's gonna buy this. Nobody's gonna like this. And one of my friends, and I was in the at the time I was in the National Guard. One
Oh.
of my friends, he read it for me, and he was like, it has a lot of grammar problems, but this is really good. I was like, don't lie to me, bro. Like I like I went to art school, I could take critique. Okay, I done got hell critique from professors, bro. You ain't got to be nice to me. I understand critique is the only way people get good. By the way, that's the way I put
Mhm.
it. I was like, tell me the real. He's like, yo, your grammar sucks, but you know what? This story I followed it all the way through, and it was really fucking good. I had my brother read it, and my brother liked it. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. And for Christmas that year, my wife uh took my book, and I told her about this. She took my book and she got it uh was edited by a professional.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I didn't know. So the professional edited. I read through it, and I read through his notes, and at the very end, the professional said, "This is a really good book. You're gonna, if you find your audience, this could go somewhere." That's what he said. He didn't have to say that. He was just supposed to do the editing. So at that was the point. That was the point. I
Mhm.
was like, I will. From that point on, I already had started. Like the very next day, I started writing the second book. Like I
Wow.
was on it. I was like, okay, let me get the second book. Let me get the
Man.
third book. Yeah, that was it right there. It shouldn't need. I shouldn't be. It shouldn't be validation, but it really was the fact that I completed it. I was like, oh my god, I completed it. But nobody's gonna read it. And then I proved myself wrong because somebody actually bought the book, read the book, and said, yo, this is really good. I was like, okay, all right, yeah, that was it for me.
You know, and I'm guilty of that. I know we shouldn't need validation,
Yeah,
but sometimes talking in a hallway and then hear someone say, hell yeah,
yeah,
is
it,
all you need, man.
yeah,
You know, I know we shouldn't need it, but as black men,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
We don't get it that much.
we don't. We do not.
So I was like, okay, I can do this. So I finished the book series, and a lot of the things I was always here. I always want to do a comic book, by the way, but I was always hear people was like, "You should really do a comic book." This I could see it in my head, make it a comic book. So I was like, you know what? All right, I always wanted to make it a comic book, so that's what I decided to do. I just didn't know how to do it at that
Mm.
point. And then came my partner, my girlfriend, Elsa, and she is an artist, and we went to school together. Um, she has a particular art style in
Mhm.
which it's like a mixture. It's like a mixture of like Disney and like uh, it's like Disney and like American cartoon comics. Like I sort of
Mm.
that.
Okay.
I've always liked her art style, and she didn't believe me. I don't think she ever believed me. I was like, I always liked your art style, and she read my book. She liked it. She read all three of the books. She liked it. She's like, yeah, I really want to do this. But my art don't really match because my art is like really it's colorful, it's saturated. It don't really work because your stories are dark. It's dark. It's a dark fantasy story. I was like, I don't care. I like your art. We can work our way through that because and we started working on it, and it actually clicked.
That's wonderful, bro. My
Yeah.
next question was about support systems and what that would look like in your situation. And
hmm
it's hilarious how that was the next question, but that was the exact answer you gave me.
Yeah, yeah. I had a lot of different people who had my back. That's very important. Because I always tell my peoples around me, like, you can't do nothing by yourself.
Right.
You can't do nothing by yourself. As much as we see these billionaires and millionaires talk all day about, oh, I did this and this by myself. No, they didn't.
Hmm.
No, they didn't. What you need to understand is every single person needed. People need people,
Agreed.
and that's and it turned into what it this 3 book series going on 4 because I've just finished the 4th chapter and writing the script. So you need people.
Bro, I love this.
Mhm.
I love to hear like that you're even now you're not stopping. You're on to the next, and
Yeah,
keeping going.
yeah.
And
I'm
so
I'm discouraged sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, okay, I can do this. And then like usually it's like I'll see somebody say something or somebody like, oh, this is really good or something along those lines. I was like, okay, I'm my own worst critic because again I went to art school, so I don't even look for what's good. I look for what's bad in my own art in my own writing. I was like, oh, this is
mm,
trash. And then somebody reads it like, oh my god, what's next? And I'm like, okay, all right, okay, I got you.
you
Yeah,
know that says something about the caliber of writer that you are, honestly.
hmm
If you're so used to seeing the great that you're looking for the flaws. I think I'll say this. I'm gonna be frank with you. It's a
hmm
pessimistic way of looking at it, but it says that your expectation has a standard
yeah.
and you expect that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
hmm
I kind of have the same mindset.
yeah.
So I'm with you.
It's a little bit okay. So it's a little bit like, oh, because I'm a black man. It's a little bit of that,
Mm,
but it's also simply just because I know that I have what it takes. I just, I'm fighting myself constantly, you know, fighting myself constantly. It's like I know that people are gonna, if I put a product in front of you and the product doesn't look like this and it doesn't look good, if the product doesn't look good, okay, I know people are gonna judge it worse than the way they would judge somebody else's stuff who don't look like us. So I'm like, I have to make sure not only does it read good, it looks good as well. Well, that sort of thing. So like it's like I know I'm going to be treated different, so it has to hit. If it don't, then yeah.
I mean, I agree with you, but I will say this: obviously, it's working.
Appreciate obviously I'm
Look,
interviewed by you, sir.
right? You know what I'm saying? I'm all the way in Alabama, bro. You're up north,
Yeah.
like
Oh
for this
wow.
connection. Yeah, man, for this
Oh,
connection to
great.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's gonna bring me to my next question, and it's kind of like forward facing. And you may not be looking at a situation like this, but seeing that you an anime fan, you probably had this dream once or twice about your work. If
Yeah.
Judgment Day was to be animated one day,
hmm
who would you cast first?
John Boyega.
Oh, you've already thought of this.
So and it's funny. It's funny. So I had this idea. I was going to make the book. I was going to do some animation with my characters. Uh, Part of the way you get people into your story is you do stuff away from your story. It sounds
Mhm.
ridiculous, but people like seeing stuff away from the story. So you might see some animations that my girlfriend, my partner does. Uh, we take characters and we put them in situations and we try to make people laugh. Um, so one of the things I did, I'm a 3D animator as well. I was going to take my 3D. I got a 3D model made of the main character Anarchious, and the guy. So so the guy who made the character, he made him like I said. You made Anarchious way too pretty. I think you need to make him a little more. And I gave him a picture of. I was like, look, give him John Boyega's chin, and John Boyega got a butt chin. Boy, yo, the character look. I was like, yo, that's okay. If I ever got a chance to cast somebody, I'm casting John Boyega because not only the main characters are twins, So you would get to
Mhm.
see John Boyega pull off a Michael B. Jordan in Sinners. So I would love that. I would love that so much, man.
All right. No,
Yeah.
okay. I like how you were ready with that. Now,
Oh yeah.
mind you, audience, I did not give this man the questions in advance.
Oh, yeah. I was. Oh, I love.
He was ready.
Yeah, I was ready. John Boyega definitely. I have like other characters. So my problem is that a lot of my characters, it wouldn't make any sense. So like I got a character, the main love interest, Eva. She has like so going back to the second question. So her story is based on black women are expected to be regal
Mhm.
at all times. They can't be loud. They cannot be themselves. So my main character, she's a witch character who is supposed to be. She's a runaway bride. She's supposed to be the bride of this man who wants her. Essentially, she could change how she looks. So essentially, she lives as a white woman, and she runs away
Mm.
from him, and she changed how she looks. Actually, I think she's on the wall back here. Is it? Yeah. So she could change how she looks. That's like her second way she looked. But like
Okay.
because of how black women deal with, I'm sorry,
You're good.
how black women deal with the fact that society only wants them for what they want them for. They don't want
Mhm.
black women. They want their brains, their knowledge, their culture. They just want that. So that character Eva is based off of like that. Um, so originally, Eva was supposed to be, I believe, Gabrielle Union, but Gabrielle Union's. I named her after. You ever see the movie Deliver Us from Eva?
Mhm.
I named Eva after Deliver Us from Eva because I was so enamored by that character. Like I was like, oh, she is so mean. I love that. Like I love how she's
Mm.
like unapologetic about who she was, and I
Right.
love. She was a little intense, but I love that about that character. And so I would, if Gabrielle Union was younger, the
Being,
character's
hey.
all like 20 years old. That tired trope, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now, one of the things that I've noticed with creatives, and you could probably see a couple things behind me. I got a couple vinyls hung up on
Yeah.
this wall that you can't see. I got plenty of art. Um, we have a creative space that we have to be in, like mentally and physically.
Mhm.
So I see some of the art behind you. So what does your creative space look like
Oh,
physically and mentally?
so mentally, oh, okay. So mentally, I have to be. Um, the best way to explain it. You ever been up at like at 3 a.m. You just alone with your thoughts?
The witching hour. Yes, indeed.
So my mentality has to be there, or I have to be at work, and I'm supposed to be doing something else. But my brain is like, nah, you need to write this down for your story right now. Like those are my
Mhm.
two. I wrote Judgment Day mainly at work and while I was on deployment. I was supposed to do other shit, and I was doing that one thing. So yeah, my actual let me. Oh damn, actual space. Okay, so yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, you're good, bro.
My actual space is this is hard to explain, but like a lot of the artwork that I got from supporting other black creators.
Oh, that's
Um,
dope.
Literally, this entire board, I think besides the New Day Rocks drawing, yeah,
Hey.
every exactly. Uh Everything here was created by a black creator that I supported. I bought at like a con or something along those lines. Yeah. So I put myself in like this space. I have to be like it inspires me. It makes me feel as though like I can do it. If they
Yeah.
can do it, I can do it. We can do
Mhm.
it. So yeah. Yeah, so that's my physical space looks like that. I have several computers and tablets in which I use those. And I could be sitting in front of the TV drawing and writing and doing whatever. yeah, that's basically what it is.
All right, nah, man, I understand. Like I used to try and work in like a quiet space because people say you can only work in quiet, you can't be distracted. Turns out that doesn't like work for me at all. I need music. I need to smell an incense. I need to have my shoes off. I need to feel the ground. The room needs to be a certain temperature. Like I have all of these things that my brain requires in order to be into that flow state. And I know exactly what you mean about that up late when there are no distractions, there are no sounds, it's just you and that creative idea, man. I know it all too well, all too well. So my next question is about milestones because we obviously track ourselves, along, and that milestone stretch as far as the eye can see in a lot of things. What milestone did you reach where you kind of looked back and was like, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do? Like which one specifically hit you?
So as far as for like art, specifically what I'm doing with these comic books, so let's see, having this book right here funded, because me and my partner argued like hard. I didn't want to ask people for help. And again, I'm on my journey now, brother.
Okay, I'm gonna give you slack.
I didn't want to ask nobody for help, and the way I saw things like Kickstarter, I saw Kickstarter as like begging people for help. That's a wrong way to look at it now. Okay, don't think that way, because the people who will pay for you are the people that are supporting you. They will support you now. Okay, that support is not begging. Okay. They want that. You're giving them what they want. Okay. I originally did not like that idea because my father is my father was like, we moved to DC when we was kids, and my dad had 3 jobs in order to support us in Washington, DC. We never seen him. Like literally, I was taking care of my sister every day. We only seen him on Thursdays, and he would just come home, go to sleep. He'd wake up. He'd talk to us, spend a little bit of time with us. Maybe on Sunday during football time, he would bring his clients over and we watch football. But other than that, I never saw my father. So like he needed help. My father was a single father, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, my father was a single father. He needed help, but he never asked for help, and it led to him becoming an alcoholic and ended up in prison. So, and I was one of the bad bad traits I picked up from him. Like, I don't want to ask nobody for help. I'm doing this by myself. And that became a drag. And we argued about it. So we did the Kickstarter. I think we asked for $2,400 and ended up getting like $3,200.
Wow.
Yeah. I was very surprised, and I think that was the milestone that really hit me, because I was not expecting that. I wasn't thinking we was gonna get it, and we actually got it. I think we had like a month left on our Kickstarter when we got it. Yeah, I was very surprised. I was very surprised.
Beating the target window is crazy, man. That's what's up. Yeah. You asking, you shall receive, though. And that's something I'm glad that you brought to the forefront, that you acknowledge that this was your mindset. You acknowledge that you're working on it, and this is what happened because you stepped out on faith on something new that you weren't necessarily comfortable with, man.
Yeah, I was not comfortable at all. I was not. I didn't like it. I was like, okay, we argued. I said, okay, we could do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And she walked me through it, and it worked. Yeah.
Sometimes we have to get out our own way.
Support systems.
Yep, they're real. They're real, bro.
Yeah.
So, if I may ask, and this is one of my final questions, my final 2, honestly. Okay. The first one is, like, I see that you're in the process of writing, part 4, right? What's next, though, for Afronomenon Studios? Like, what if you can give me like a smidget of information? You ain't gotta tell me your whole hand. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me how many spades you got in your hand, and we'll be cool with that.
Man, I wish I had some spades. I'm looking at two impossible right now. No, I've been trying to get my girlfriend to actually publish her story. Like I tried to, I wrote some stuff for her, and she has a really good idea with like, what if, all these billionaires and stuff like left the planet, and they left the world to the people that they left on the planet, and then they came back trying to reclaim it. And when they came back, the planet was completely different from what it was. There were people with powers and stuff like that. I think I can't explain how I want to explain it because she's better explaining it. But she don't think she can do it. I think she can do it. I will write the story for you. You just edit out what you don't want and what you do, and you're already an artist. We can do it. That I really want to do that. I really want to do that story. There's another story I got where a demon that eats trauma. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. I already got everything down. Already got it in the chamber. But yeah, that's my two in the possible.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Look, man, I'm gonna keep my ear to the streets. I already follow you and the studio, so I'm locked in, bro. Anything y'all put up, whether it's wrestling related, art related, or comic related, I'm liking and reposting. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. I love to see my people doing it, man. So my final question, and this is my favorite one to ask, because before we got started, I told you this all began as a project to help inspire other people to continue following their craft or whatever they believe in, right? The hardest thing to do is to do exactly what you did, right? You took an idea, you followed up on it, and you followed through, and you created something beautiful. What words of encouragement do you have for that person who has an idea, but they're afraid to act on it?
Do not be a shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Ooh.
Do not be a shoulda, woulda, coulda. One of the things I noticed as a child, my father, he was around a lot of guys who I coulda, shoulda, woulda did this as a kid, and they would constantly talk about it, and I would hear that, and it would always feel like they're sad that they didn't get a chance to do that stuff. Right? Some of them would say, "Oh, I waited to this and this. I waited too long, and then it just passed me by," or I didn't do this, and I wish I'd have listened to my coach or something along those lines. Do not be a shoulda, woulda, coulda. Don't wait for perfect either, because perfect does not exist. I'm still finding mistakes from comic books and books that I published from way before. Do it. Just freaking do it, because if you don't, you're gonna sit around. You're gonna be 70-year-old. I coulda, I shoulda. No, don't. Just do it. You can do it. You can do it.
That's it. That's it, bro. John, if anybody wanted to follow you on social media to get more information on like Judgment Day, to get more information on from Afronomenon, got tongue tied there. Afronomenon Studios.
Long name. Afronomenon. Yeah.
Where could they go to follow you, brother?
You can follow us on TikTok at Anarchious, or Longtail, that's LONGTALE, or Afronomenon, or I shorten it to Afrono, that's AFRONO Studio. All right, so that's everywhere. That's Blue Sky, that's X, that's Insta, TikTok, Lemonade, everywhere. all of these social medias. Yeah.
Yes, sir. John, I appreciate you for taking time out your day, man. And I feel like every time I get an interview, it's a confirmation of my own, because I've been practicing doing interviews for like the last 6 years.
Oh, this was smooth.
Thank you.
Smooth. I've had interviews, obviously, because
yeah.
If we could talk about this some other time, maybe, because so do you know what this is?
I'm not sure. I've not seen that belt. No.
Okay, so all right, so I created this Do you watch wrestling?
Oh, come on.
Do you watch AEW?
Come on. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Come on.
All right. So you know Khan on AEW?
Yeah.
Okay. So I created a belt called the Pan African World Diaspora Wrestling Championship. I grew up. We all saw what happened to Booker T at WrestleMania. Was it 17?
Don't get me started about that shit with him and Triple H.
So yeah, so I created something called the Pan African World Diaspora Wrestling Championship. It's built for us by us. I own a company, a wrestling company. We run out of Cheverly, Maryland, and Washington D.C. We spotlight black wrestlers. The champion currently, right? Our first champion was Trish Adora.
Okay.
Our second champion was Shug D. Some people know him as Pineapple Pete when he was on AEW.
Okay.
And our third champion is Khan. He is not only that, just so you understand how important, how like what you walked into, brother.
All right, bless me.
So you understand.
Bless me, bro.
So,
oh shit, is that what I think it is?
oh yeah, exactly. So in 2020, while you were doing this beautiful network and this beautiful idea, we created the Pan African World Diaspora Wrestling Championship. We created Fight Club. So this right here is an official designation for my championship. It's an official world championship.
That's amazing, bro.
It's recognized. I think there's only 6 recognized world championships on the planet for wrestling. You know, there's a bunch of companies that say, "Oh, I got a world championship."
Yeah.
Nah, this title right here. This is actually the original title, by the way. So
you legit, bro.
World title. Khan is right now the champion. He wrestles for AEW, but he also wrestles for Shea. We haven't gotten a chance to get him at Fight Club in DC, but we will eventually at some point.
Okay.
But yeah, official world championship designated by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So
that's beautiful, dog. That's man.
And remember, we don't need the validation, but it means something.
It means something to hear that voice in that hallway. It means something.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a voice, though, right there. That black is a hell of a voice.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly, exactly. The moment they gave this to me, I think they gave it to Trish, and I stole it from Trish. I was like, "Nah, I'm taking this home, girl." Yeah, because she took it to New Japan. She took it to Japan. I think she defended it there. She defended in England too, I believe. Yeah, so it becomes a world championship once it leaves the States.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's
it's up for grabs for any black wrestler because the point of the title is to spotlight black wrestlers.
It's for us, by us. I love it.
Yeah,
love it, bro.
Thank you. I didn't mean to add more to your time.
No, listen. Look, what's interesting? I have interviewed several professional wrestlers.
Oh, well.
And I was just talking to someone today about it. Because I've interviewed like Eli Knight was one of the professional wrestlers in NXT right now.
Yeah.
A few years ago, he was in a group called Culture Inc. I interviewed Culture Inc.
I know you're talking about,
Fly Duff, who's been on Booker T's brand, Reality of Wrestling. I interviewed those guys. Shogun Jones, Future Stars of Wrestling. I interviewed him. And what's crazy is, you want to know how I got the interview?
How?
Hey, bro, I think you're dope. Can we do an interview?
It works. It works. It works. Get the name out there, yeah.
And what I love about it most, brother, is they see how genuine I am about it. It isn't about the clicks or views and none of that. I just am interested in them and their story. And I think it translates in their interview. You know, I watch great interviewers like Chris Van Vliet. One of my favorite interviewers of all time that a lot of people didn't take to a lot was hear me out. So in WCW, you know, Howard Finkel, I feel like he was one of the dopest out there. Just being honest, I took note of how he. Yeah, I know.
I was a WCW kid. So.
Oh, okay, great.
I was not a WWF kid. I hated the WWF. I hated it so much.
I was a WCW guy too.
I was a WCW kid. Yeah.
So Mean Gene, Howard Finkel, Hell, man, even when Roddy Piper was doing interviews, at Piper's Pit, I took notice. I loved it, and I just kept it going. Point blank period. But yeah, man, we're gonna have to talk more about that one day, bro. We're gonna have to talk about it a little bit deeper, brother. But I appreciate you again for taking time out your day, man. And again, brother, for anybody that's listening, man, go and cop the book. I got mine on the way. I had to wait till I get paid first, but I got mine on the way. I was instantly attracted by the art because
Longtail, my great artist.
Yeah.
Fantastic artist, yes.
Yeah.
This is all her covers too.
Hey.
I got a couple of covers, but these are her covers. I love these covers. She didn't want this to be the official one. We actually paid somebody that's like popular on X to do our first cover. I was like, I like this one better. It's, oh my God, I love it. I love it so much. It gives you character of these two. You'll understand when you start reading it. You'll understand.
It gives me Hercules. Hercules killed the lion and he wore it. It gave me that kind of vibe when I first seen it online. And I was like, yeah, these people are serious. They're kind of dope. So
yeah, thank you.
Let me go and get this interview set up, man. But that being said, man, this has been your boy, Sirr. John, Afronomenon Studios, y'all. Cop the book. Because volume 3 is dropping soon, right?
Yeah, volume 3 is out right now.
Okay.
Volume 3 is out right now. It's out and ready for consumption. It's actually 114 pages. It's 114 pages. So our other two comics are 60 pages each.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right, and I know I'm gonna cop mine from your website. And yeah, brother. And that being said, man, like I said, it's been us, and we are out.
Peace.